Hi everyone, Pam Souter here, your Chief Networking Officer with It Works Global and that crazy rap thing, and I am so excited about tonight's call. Whenever we have Dr. Don Verholtz on, there's always tons of great information and plenty of surprises. Dr. Don, welcome tonight.
Thank you, Pam. It's so good to be here. I've been looking so forward to this call for a long time.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. Now, we've got a lot of brand new distributors with us, Dr. Don. They have just rolled in this past year. A lot of them are having very successful experiences with the wrap, also with the products that help maintain and enhance the results. But, you know, as we go out into the marketplace, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or out in the grocery store or at our hair salon, you know, we're blitzing. We're talking about the wrap. But then there's some of us who just have that little ounce of fear about it because maybe they tried it once and didn't get the results that they wanted, or maybe they got the results, they put it on others, and they might not have gotten the results that they thought they should have, which can kind of get you shut down. So let's first talk about that, but you discovered the product by me wrapping you.
Yes, I did, and I'm so glad that you're bringing up this concept about the skepticism with the wrap, because that's really where a lot of people start. Very few people from the very beginning just totally believe in it and have no concerns about how it works or if it works, and just, isn't it all great? I mean, that happens rarely. But most of the time people are wondering, how could this be true? If this was possible, then other people would have found it, or I'd already know about it, or it's just not possible. It's impossible. And I guess I was in that group when I first heard about the wrap. As you know, Pam, I'm a medical doctor, and I was and still am teaching people how to get and stay healthy using natural alternatives, how to detoxify the body and balance the immune system. And I was very excited when I heard that It Works wanted to expand their nutritional side of the business, and they were considering bringing someone on to help teach about that, and that was my area of expertise. And so I met you guys, you and Mark and the whole team, and just loved you from the start of the family atmosphere and just the fun and the just positive atmosphere that we had. The one problem I had with the company was that crazy wrap thing. I thought, couldn't it be anything but this? It just made no sense to me. Thinking that I knew a lot about dermatology, and I did. I was taught about it in medical school. My instructor was the former Department of Dermatology chairperson at the University of Michigan Medical School. So, and I had spent time in his office working with him and his patients, and I knew some. And when I heard about putting the wrap on and getting these kinds of results, and sometimes immediately within 45 minutes, I just was not buying it. I was skeptical, to say the least. And what changed my whole experience was when you and Krista, the product coach, took me in the back room and you wrapped me. I did an abdominal wrap, and you measured me in two areas, and then put the wrap on 45 minutes, and I'm thinking this whole time, what am I doing? But when we got done, I had measurable results the very first time. So then I kind of had a bigger problem, you know, how did this work? And I began to study about the wrap. And I've come to learn quite a great deal about it, and I'll share a few of those things tonight, but I want to emphasize this. It's not important to know how it works or even if it works or be concerned about such things. Here's what I've learned, Pam. I've learned that he or she who wraps the most people wins. We tell people, wrap the map. Get out there and put the wrap on people. It's a numbers game. You know, some will, some won't. So what next? Keep on wrapping no matter what your experience might be initially. And we find that some people who don't have like I had, an immediate result the very first time, sometimes with consistent use, they get a better result, and it will even last longer. So you can't really prejudge it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to get to know all the details. And even some of I'm just going to share a few things about the wrap tonight on the call in terms of the physiology and the science behind it, which there's a lot of science behind it, but do not share that with people. Don't get into an argument. Don't try to answer questions. Just honestly say, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but let's just try it. Let's just give it a try. Let's just try the wrap. That should be on the tip of your tongue. That's my greatest and take-home recommendation even from this call tonight. But let me tell you some of the great science that is behind it. And, of course, we can't claim that the wrap does anything, because if we make claims, then we get into that dangerous area of making it into a pharmaceutical, and you have to have a prescription to get it, and then it costs 10 times as much. So we don't claim the wrap does anything. We just say put it on and see what kinds of results you get. What we can talk about, though, even though I don't recommend you do this, I'm just giving you a little foundation here, is we can talk about research on the ingredients have shown that they support certain bodily processes. And with the wrap, that's certainly true. And a certain set of ingredients that are in the wrap help the body in what I'm going to call lipolysis or triglyceride hydrolysis. Those are fancy doctor words for fat breakdown at the cellular level. It takes nutrients to do that. And certain herbals and certain vitamins and minerals really facilitate that process greatly, and you want to make sure that those are available, and they are in the wrap. Another area is in microcirculation, enhancing something we call microcirculation. That's bringing the nutrients to the skin and subdermal layers that are necessary for healthy skin physiology, and then taking the waste away so you get a local anti-inflammatory effect. And there are certain nutrients that are really good at that, and they're also in the wrap. And then the third final area that I'll talk about, although there are more, is in tissue regeneration. You see, your skin remakes itself about every 28 to 45 days. You get new skin. The old skin falls off and makes house dust. You make 40 pounds during your life. But that process can also be facilitated with proper nutrients, and some good certain ingredients in the wrap help in this tissue regeneration process as well. For example, children probably get new skin every 7 days or so when they're younger. So if you can enhance that process, you get healthier skin, less tendency to wrinkle and form cellulite from abnormal cross-linking and other things. And there's a lot of other things that the wrap supports as well. Healthy hydration, keeping the skin very well hydrated, and antioxidant protection, protecting from free radical damage and aging. I could go on and on, as you probably can hear, but those are some of the major areas that the wrap supports the body's ability to keep your skin getting and staying healthier. I think it's about as close to the fountain of youth for your skin as you're possibly going to get. And that's why I say, Pam, you've heard me say it many times, and I continue to say it every time I talk about the wrap. I try to remember to say this, is that everyone gets results every time they use the wrap. Now, you may not get dramatic, measurable results like you've heard others give testimonies. Thank God for those people. And if you wrap enough people, you're going to run into some people and are going to have some dramatic results immediately. They're going to get extremely excited and go out there and open the doors to a lot of other people and really help you build your business. But I will stand behind my statement that you get results. Everyone that wraps gets results every time, because you're certainly supporting your body's ability to break down fat at the cellular level and to enhance that tissue regeneration and to fight that free radical damage, keep the skin hydrated, and enhance that microcirculation. So I've told already on this call, Pam, a lot more than anyone needs to know to be successful in this business by wrapping people. And I don't even recommend that you try to write down what I said and share it with anybody. Just know there's a lot of science behind it, and it does work, and you are getting results every time, even if it's not dramatic and measurable as it has, as we've heard many testimonies in that regard. Just keep wrapping. He or she who wraps the most people wins, Pam. So there you asked me one little question, and I kind of took off because I'm passionate about the wrap.
Well, I tell you what, this is what, from going on 14 years of being out with this product, I've learned the less I say, the better opportunity I have to get the product on someone. It's just too much information in the beginning. Your mind just cannot absorb it. They're still trying the whole time to try to figure out if they actually believe you or not. So the less I say, the more opportunities I have to get the product on people. So I know from listening to you, Dr. Don, their confidence now is built in the product. So let's now take it into confidence and just getting out there. And there's a whole realm of science also behind why we do things and why we don't do things and why we fear things. And, you know, it goes back to a lot of preconceived thoughts that people put into our minds as we were growing up. And there's a lot of us that really want to have a tremendous amount of success with It Works. We're out there working every day. We range anywhere from a stay-at-home mom that wants to earn an extra $300 or $400 a month to someone that really wants to make life-changing income and perhaps leave their job that they're currently at. And so with that being said, a lot of times we believe those labels that have been put on us in the past, not just by family and friends, but also by ourselves. And I had a great call with Skylar Lambert, Presidential Diamond, last week, and then we did a Facebook message with her. And Dr. Don, she talked about a boot camp that you and I did together about 3 years, a little over 2-3 years ago. And she said that afterwards she came up to you, and that she was starting to go down the path of labels, and they were not labels that were good about herself. And you said you want to just strip those labels off and have new labels. I am successful at this. One of them was she didn't think she could have successful pregnancies, and you said, I am a baby-making machine. And I love that you actually told her that. So can you talk a little bit about that and why we self-sabotage ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. I do remember that, Pam. I remember it clearly. And what I heard was a beautiful young lady who was being pulled by a force. I could literally sense it and see it in the negative direction. And by the words she was saying, and that's a clue, the words you are saying. What do you say about yourself? What do you put in a sentence after I always or I never? What comes after that? Because I'll tell you, words control your destiny, and there's a lot of science behind this. As you've heard me talk many times about the new branch of science, it's not so new anymore, psychoneuroimmunology, that link between your health and what's going on in your brain and your thought life. And you always go in the direction of your dominant thought, be that positive or negative. And the neurophysiologists, the brain scientists that have studied this, what they've taught us is that every thought builds a tree. That's how they describe it in your brain. And that tree is either a positive tree or a negative tree. And you can actually see this physiologically. And the positive thoughts that are love-based thoughts, that are, I can do something, I will be successful, I'm strong and I'm healthy, and I have more than enough ability to do what I need to do. Those love-based thoughts, accepted thoughts, I'm accepted by others and I accept myself, those kinds of thoughts are love-based. And the tree that they build, you can actually see physiologically. If you take a brain, and they've studied the brain and shown this, that it builds a beautiful-looking tree, versus the only other kind of thought, which is a fear-based thought. These are the negative thoughts. I can't do it. What if it doesn't work? I don't have enough. I can't. I don't know the right kinds of people. All those negative thoughts, they're fear-based thoughts. And they also build a tree, and that tree, I wish that we could see it on this call, but it's a decrepit-looking tree. It's a dark-looking, cracked, and the branches don't look healthy. Literally, this is what a brain looks like that kind of a thought, because a thought is literally a certain sequence of neurons that a brain, it's neuron talking to the next neuron talking to the next one, and if you follow the pattern, we call it cabling in brain physiology, you see either a positive cabling pattern if they're based on love, and a negative cabling pattern if they're based on fear. And here's the beautiful thing that we found physiologically. That is, they can't coexist. In other words, in a certain area, you either have fear-based thoughts or you have love-based thoughts, and the love-based thoughts displace and take precedence over the fear-based thoughts. And vice versa. The opposite can also happen. And it seems like it's a pattern, it's a repetition, it's a numbers game, if you will. So what thoughts are you allowing in your brain to take precedence? When you literally rewrite your brain pattern, we call it cabling, you can rewire your brain by love-based thoughts. And the most powerful way that I know to do that is by positive affirmation, by saying, I can do things. I mean, I love to teach miracles come in cans. I can do all things. And I would, after this call, I really highly encourage each person to take some time, some quiet time, just take a few minutes and get and seek what your core affirmation, your core confessions, the things that you would like to see come to pass in your life and in your business. Take a minute and allow some of those things to come to you. They'll come to you. The thoughts will come to you, and you don't need a lot of them. In fact, sometimes I think more or less is more in this situation too, where just a few foundational thoughts, things like, I am a life enhancer, because you wouldn't be in this business if you weren't. I'm a blessing everywhere I go. People want and need what I have. Those are beautiful thoughts, and those are beautiful statements to make. I love to share solutions for health and wealth. The right people receive what I have to say, and I'm meeting the right people. My business is booming. I'm meeting people that are very interested in increasing their health and their wealth. I mean, things like that, very simple statements. My dream vehicle has arrived, it works, and I'm in the driver's seat, and my dreams are coming true. Just saying things like that actually attract those events to you and help put you in the right place at the right time. In fact, just saying I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people. That's a beautiful one to say daily. I like to say that daily. But how many people do we have out there saying, I'm always in the wrong place at the right time. I never meet the right people. I can't find anybody who wants to do this. Do not say those things. You are literally cabling and setting up fear-based thoughts in your brain. So it's very powerful. And by the way, this is science, but it's also the foundation of it is biblical truth. Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So you are a sum total of your thoughts. And it also says in Matthew 6:31, take no thought saying. You take a thought when you say it. Now, you're going to have some negative thoughts come whisk by your head. Do not say those things. In fact, turn it around and start saying the opposite. Say the positive thing. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, Matthew 12:34, Jesus said. And he even said, your destiny is in words. Matthew 12:37 says that by your words you'll be condemned, or by your words you'll be justified. Stop condemning yourself with your words and start justifying yourself. Start paving the way to your healthy, wealthy future by making positive statements. You can recable your brain, and it starts by ripping those labels off. And we've all had labels put on us, like you said, whether it's by others or perhaps the way we were raised when we were children, by parents or grandparents, or and probably some of the most powerful label makers, as you mentioned, are self-thoughts, what thoughts you think about yourself. But see, your mind is your mind. You control what's going on in your mind, and you can change what's going on there. And I think the most powerful way to do it is by choosing your words wisely. You know, words have a life of their own. Choose them wisely. Don't say anything that you don't want to come to pass. In the spirit world, words control everything. They control the spirit world. The truth is, you will have what you say. So why keep saying what you have? That's the trap people get into. They keep saying what they have. They're confessing to the circumstances, to the problems, and that's what keeps coming, and that's what stays. But if you start saying the things you want and speaking positive, speaking in faith, that's really what faith is. It's believing in those positive that are biblically based. But science, you know, when the theologian is, or when the scientist is climbing the mountain of knowledge, he gets to the top and finds out the theologian's been sitting there all along. But I think it's wonderful that science is verifying some of these things through psychoneuroimmunology, and now a brand new science, which is very new compared to psychoimmunology, that is called epigenetics. Epi means above or is upon the genes, and epigenetics, scientists are documenting now that you can rewrite literally the way your genes express themselves. And genes are what control everything in your body. Every cell of your body has the genetic material to make a whole new you. And the proteins that you and I make are unique, and that's what makes us different, and it's controlled by genes. And sometimes we think, well, if you're, you know, I've got these genes in my family, and we've got certain genes, so we're a certain way. Well, it's not whether you have the genes. What we're finding out is if it's whether they are expressed or not. And one of the most powerful things to express genes or keep them from being expressed is actually your words. I mean, Russian scientists have done some studies that have shown that human speech dramatically alters DNA. This is that epigenetics, that science of it, and they prove that the human body's DNA can be easily reprogrammed by human speech. Words can actually affect the expression of your DNA, how healthy you are, and how your body functions, and even things that happen to you, how you physiologically respond. So there's so much here, Pam, I could go on and on, but epigenetics is a brand new field where science is catching up.
I'm sitting here going, I am young, I am sexy.
There you go, and you are. See, and you've been saying it a long time, so it's a lot more effective for you to say those things. The very first time some people say some of these things, it sounds crazy. And you may even hear in your head, that's crazy, this is foolish, why are you doing this? Don't let that stop you. You keep on saying those things about yourself. That's the truth. And demand that that becomes the dominant force, because you are going to go towards your dominant thought. And you've got to believe it. If you're just saying it, it's important to say it, but just saying it won't make it necessarily come to pass. I mean, you can teach a parrot to say, you know, words, but that it won't bring it to pass there. But saying it is very important. I mean, Romans 10, I think, says it best. It says the word of faith is near you, even in your heart and in your mouth. It's got to be in two places. You've got to believe it and then speak it out of your mouth. And I like a translation of that scripture that says, the answer is closer than you think. And that is my word for you tonight, for everyone on this call. The answer is closer than you think. It's near you. It's in your heart and in your mouth. Keep some positive confessions. Take some time. Get some things that you are going to say daily and you are going to believe when you speak them out of your mouth. And then stick around people who have like philosophy. It's so important to be on these calls, to stay around your successful upline. Don't listen to someone talk about your business who has never done the business or did it and didn't have success. What do you want to know what they know? They can only teach you how to fail. Listen to your successful upline and stay plugged in. Stay around positive people who will help one another. I mean, it's one of the things that I love about the networking business, but particularly about It Works Global, is just the kinds of people that it attracts. It's positive people that are there to help one another, and I just love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything, Pam. So I've gone on and on here, but you can see I'm very excited about this subject.
Well, I just love it. You know, one of the things I read was reading about a lot of different people, and, you know, Muhammad Ali, and we used to hear him say, before he was the greatest, I am the greatest.
Yes.
And he would say it with such conviction and knowing, and so that's what you're getting at. You know, just saying, I am the greatest, and saying it just flip. That's not what faith is. Faith is saying it, but getting it in that heart, getting it in your heart, and really believing it. And at first, it may sound ridiculous.
Yeah, and it will sound ridiculous to people around you. And I don't recommend that people make their confessions when there's unbelieving people around. Anyway, they don't need to hear your confession. You do. Make it when you're alone. Look in the mirror and speak those things to yourself and believe it. When we heard Muhammad Ali first speak like that, most of us thought, who is this guy? This is crazy
He's
talk.
arrogant.
Right,
Cocky,
and that's what people yeah, because unbelieving people think like that, and they don't need to hear your confession. But what we didn't know is he had that in his heart. He wasn't saying it to try to get it to come to pass. He was saying it because he believed it with all his heart, and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. When you really have something in your heart and you say it, your actions will follow up and will make sure that that thing comes to pass. It's automatic, but you really have to get that belief in your heart. And I think a good starting point is just to rip those old labels off and start over. You know, God's mercies are new every morning. There is no expiration date on potential. You didn't miss it. You didn't come too late. You didn't blow it. I don't care how old or young you may be or inexperienced or overexperienced. There is a plan for your success, and God wishes above all things, 3 John 2, that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. That covers the whole shooting match right there. That's a great, great confession to make, and it's true, but you've got to get it in your heart, and you've got to get it in your mouth. It's got to be in 2 places. Speak it, and then have corresponding action, which you will automatically go in the right direction, and you'll end up with the right people at the right time in the right place. It's so important to stay plugged into your successful upline.
One final point on this. You